Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another TOMO-CHAN podcast. Today is episode number 3. My name is Sai, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, John and Chris. And today we're going to be talking about 6 new animes we watched the first episodes of from the winter 2023 lineup. And welcome, everybody.
Hello. How we doing?
Hey, Sai, real quick. I think you said animes with an S. Anime is already plural.
Anime.
Yeah.
Anime?
Anime. Yeah, I watched
like
7 new anime.
octopi,
You know?
Anime.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you.
I'm just saying.
Hey, look, you're just watching my back, and that's what friends are for.
That's true. But yeah. We, as Sai said to our lovely audience, thanks for making it here to episode 3 of the official podcast. We spent last weekend and made a little road trip out to Gamers Heaven to use their theater room, which is pretty awesome. Not a sponsor, but we just have to shout that out of how much of a nice time we had there. But we watched 6 episodes, the premiere episodes of brand new animes of the winter 2023 season. Not returning ones because we wanted something new, fresh in our minds. I think overall there wasn't a bad one in the bunch for me.
I disagree.
I enjoyed
I think
all of them.
My favorite, and we're going to go through them one by one and give you like a brief breakdown with hopefully not spoiling too much, but it's the first episode. What do you care? But I mean, my favorite was TOMO-CHAN is a girl.
I thought it was fantastic. I haven't seen really an anime that was like a slice of life, as John would say. Mm-hmm. And it was just a good change of pace, really.
Yeah, a quick breakdown for anybody who hasn't seen it, but it's pretty much a story of this girl who is kind of seen as a tomboy by the love interest of her, because they've been so close and have just been kind of really
they grew up together, really.
Exactly.
They grew up together. They did karate together.
Exactly. And so he just sees her as more of a rival. But he's slowly starting to, I think, see her feminine charms that she wants him to see more. And it's a sitcom. It's a nice sitcom. It's easy, and the world of so many isekais and fantasies, and it's something you don't have to think too hard, but it's still enjoyable and funny.
The thing that I do like about it, though, too, to add on to that, is that it's like you said, like being able to sit back, just watch it, and just understand. But it goes through like the quirkiness of school in a way. Most of us, I believe, have gone to school, so we know what that awkwardness of growing up and going to school is like. And this really makes it. It points out a lot of the comedy in what happens.
Yes, through all the goofiness, I think there is something you can relate to, and that's the point of sitcoms. Yeah. It is a sitcom at the heart. It is goofy. It is funny. It is a romance, but you know what? It works. It's funny. I enjoyed. I actually went home and I watched the following 2 episodes, so I'm up to episode 3 of it, and hilarious. Highly recommend it. It's just a good time. A good time.
Highly recommend them for my point as well.
Yeah.
I absolutely hated it.
Chris, tell us why.
I agree with what you're saying. Like, yeah, it's a sitcom. There's something to relate to.
I mean, you visually looked disgusted as we started saying this and started mouthing.
Oh, I'm so shocked.
What?
It's your favorite out of the 6 that we watched.
It was.
I would say
funny.
one of my favorites. Definitely.
Yes.
I don't know about your favorite.
Not even on my list. Not even at the bottom. It just didn't make it. Okay.
I mean, I said that more because I know when we watched it, we finished the episode and Chris just looked back at us and was like, "That was terrible."
And he was also, for some visual perspective, Chris was in like an old school an old school gaming console chair that would
one
sit
of those
on the
ones
floor.
that would rock.
You get at like Target,
has
be on the
speakers
floor.
built into the headrest.
Yeah, and it was quite comfortable.
Who did fall backwards one time and also started to fall asleep.
I did not.
Multiple times.
I was looking at the subtitles. Look, I'm looking down. It looks like my eyes are closed. I'm not sleeping. But okay, let me talk about Tomo-CHAN as a girl. Now, first of all, slice of life anime.
Okay.
They're not my favorite because I watch anime to get that supernatural, bombastic fight scenes, like monsters, superpowers,
swords.
So you're not saying that like the level of strength that Tomo-CHAN displays is
that's strong, true. But like,
so you could take her on.
What is she strong for? She took karate, and she's like, I don't know.
So you could take her on, is what you're saying?
No, she could probably beat me up. But
next episode, Chris goes to a karate dojo and challenges the biggest person.
Not a lot in a slice of life for me to really like. And plus the comedy in the show, there were some funny dialogue scenes, but a lot of it to me seemed like slapstick comedy.
Dubbed? Was it because it was dubbed?
That's another thing. I'm not a fan of.
We
dub.
watched a handful of these in dub because Sai prefers it that way, so he can really digest and take it in and not have to process the text. Chris, being the purist that he is,
I wouldn't say I'm a purist. There are some anime that dubs really work well.
All right,
name two.
That he is.
Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay. I would just say whenever I brought up watching in dub, because I have difficulties in sub being able to see what's happening on screen, but also read what's actually in the dialogue. It does make it harder, and it ruins it for me. And I've definitely tried to watch certain things subbed, and it's upset me. And then when I brought it up, John being, John's like, I'll watch it, whatever. It's fine. Chris, I guess we could watch it in dubbed.
Yeah, because sometimes it just doesn't work. It's like the voices don't match with
I will agree with that. Not jumping too far ahead, we're still going to be on this one. But with Buddy Daddies, there was some scripting that fell through. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But yes, I do understand what you're saying, Chris. But I
guess it depends on the studio doing the dubbing though too. Because I feel like some dubs, I feel like they do a really good job.
But are you more? So I guess, do you have an issue more with the script that they're reading, or how the voices play into the scene?
It's all of it.
So there's just no middle ground for you.
There's no middle ground, because sometimes the script could be good, but the delivery from the actors isn't. Don't get me wrong.
Wow. So any voice actors
My Hero Academia
who do any dubbing,
trash.
You've heard it here first.
Wait, what'd you just say, Chris? What was that?
Chris is calling you out.
Deku from My Hero Academia.
Deku. Okay, I was gonna say, because we met Hawks, and I got a picture with them.
You guys met Hawks.
Oh yeah, John was. Where were you, John?
It was having family time.
Oh, it was family time. That's what it was. I was like,
family time.
Where was John? It's all kind of a blur now.
I prefer the original source material. What can I say?
So you're.
Is it? Because they picked the voices, and this is the first time we're hearing any of it. It's not like they were in the room
all
while
brand
he was
new.
writing it.
All brand new. Yeah. The other thing too is to think about this. So you would say everybody should just watch it subbed in their own language, but it can only be voiced in their own language and not easily digestible for others. So if they're speaking French or anything else, you're
that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying personally for me, I prefer
gotcha.
with the original language. I'm just like, I've experienced anime dubbed too many times where it just didn't match up with the mouth. I could tell sometimes, even though they're drawings, you could still tell it doesn't really match up all the time. Also, American voice actors, I feel like
English. You mean?
Yeah, English.
Yeah, they're not always. Yeah.
They're not always American.
Sorry.
Just English.
English, American, same thing. I'm kidding.
They speak American. Is that what you're saying?
I was going to do a British accent, but then I realized I couldn't do a British accent. So.
I can't do one either. But sometimes they're like, I don't want to say they're trying too hard, but it's feels very emphasized. It's not natural, is what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean?
So, are you saying that it can't be Well, you did say there's a few that you like, so it is possible for it to be good. But is it more so? Are you saying that it's just is it more so difficult for them to voice produce it in the way that it sounds right, or it's just difficult in general because it is in a different language being talked over? Like, what do you think is more of the issue with it?
I think it's the former.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the latter.
I can give a prime example. So, Chris and I were watching Inuyasha. Okay, I watched it dubbed, of course. Even originally, I watched it dubbed, and Chris watched it subbed. And when he came over to watch it, a specific instance of Kagome, Kagome telling Inuyasha to sit boy in the dubbed version versus what they say in subbed. And what do they say in subbed, Chris?
It's just sit.
It's just sit. But in Japanese, is it 2 syllables?
Even if it was 2 syllables, that could just translate to sit.
Yeah, but then it would just be them saying sit and then
they're English boy, so it fits.
Because the mouth movement.
That's what I don't like either, because they add stuff. Like, why?
They have for the mouth movements, or else
I think it's trash. Don't.
So you complain that it shows the voice not matching up, which is what exactly happens if they did it the way you did it.
Yes. Like, that's what it feels like.
For those who are not watching our podcast, which is uploaded on Spotify podcast video and YouTube when I get around to it, but he was trying to talk like a bad dubbing where it didn't line up, and it didn't really work out.
No,
but before we go, any further with,
wait,
with that
one last thing. I mean, my first introduction to anime, I'm sure Sai's, and I'm pretty sure yours, has all been dub.
Yeah,
like it's all Toonami.
I will say, my first anime dub was Full Metal Alchemist, which was good dubbing.
But see, is that more of a because that's how you're introduced to it? Like, do you think you would like any of it at all had you watched it subbed and for originally? No,
because that's
how you were first.
I switched. So let me explain this. I started Full Metal Alchemist when it was on Adult Swim, like playing 4 in the morning and stuff, and that was dubbed, right? That was my crux of anime, the inception. Then Naruto came out, that was dubbed. Professor. Okay, so eventually it stopped airing on Cartoon Network, and then Shippuden moved over to Disney XD.
Wait, it did?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it did. But that was like years later. Like, it just stopped for a while, and then...
John and I were already grown up by that point.
Yeah. Chris is the baby of the group.
Yeah. But, so, I caught up with it. Like, I was all caught up, and I'm like, oh, man, I want more. So I started looking up online, like, Naruto Shippuden episode whatever, free online. And I caught up with those dubs that were released, illegally. So, I had to bite the bullet. Yeah, very illegal.
Watching 480p streamed.
And I decided, all right, well, I want more Naruto, so I'm just going to have to deal with watching it in subbed. And at first, I didn't like it because I didn't want to read the subtitles. But then I realized, wow, these Japanese voice actors really know how to play the part. And I found that similarity throughout a lot of different animes moving forward. And that's why I started enjoying subbed more than dubbed, because the English dubbing just doesn't really add that much emotion or oomph most of the time.
Okay. I think it's a good opinion, because I feel like English actors or any other language actors put as much effort as they can as the original cast would
not according to Chris, because it doesn't work. But
it's a good debate. And I feel like what we're going to do next is we're going to put this on our socials, either Instagram or Twitter or something, and we're going to see what all of you think. Dub versus subbed. Is clean cut as, yes and no, or is it depending on the studio and how they do it? How well does somebody dub it?
What I think we should do, we each should pick scenes from anime that we agree on. and compare the sub and dub and see
Yeah.
which one is better.
That would be
We don't
cool.
have to do this.
No.
episode,
Yeah,
but
I have
we should
multiple
do
scenes that
next-
come to mind, especially ones that you scream constantly, randomly while we're out and about.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Maybe next podcast episode we'll take a look at the best dubbed and the best subbed anime
Versions.
scenes.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah.
More to come.
But I mean, overall, me and Sai, we both enjoyed Tomo-CHAN as a girl. I think it's a fun watch, and
I will
what
say
more
this.
you can ask.
I didn't like it. I won't put it on for myself, but if it's on, someone else is playing it, I'll watch it.
Okay.
It wasn't 100% bad.
Well, Chris, we have to watch all these, and then once they've all been out, we have to rate them. So
No,
technically,
I
you're going to
stated- I
have to.
stated
For the,
I'm not-
you're
I'm
gonna
not
have
watching
to.
another
I
episode of
mean,
Tomo-CHAN as a girl,
it's
though.
in
I did
it's in
state
your
that.
contract. I'm sorry.
Chris, you're
contract.
saying that, but if we go to Gamer 7 again and we put it on, you have no say.
Yeah,
That's true. Unless I use the bathroom.
Yeah.
The whole
30
time.
minutes.
Was Tomo-CHAN the third or the fourth series that was?
Tomo-
That was the
Tomo-CHAN- Fourth. Yeah. So
Buddy Daddies was the third.
That's right.
yeah. Do you want to talk about the first one, or do you
Yeah,
want to just
so
keep
let's
talking
go in
randomly?
order now.
Let's go in order,
We jumped just because I wanted to aggravate Chris a little bit with the best one.
Get the
we
blood pumping.
watched. But before we jump into that, I know we kind of glossed over, but like Gamer 7 we've been talking about for a while. We met the owner of it at Comic-Con, which we have mentioned before. And he did snuff us because he didn't put us in the daily breakdown from the conventions that he posted at the end, and we met him. We were the first people who met him on, I think it was Friday.
The
first day.
We
Yep,
have photos
right in the
with him. It's up on our socials. He's tagged in them. But I mean, that's here nor there. But it was a pretty cool place. It's we visited their main location in Phoenixville, PA. We reserved the theater room, which, like we said, how big was that projector screen? You'd have to say.
It's got to be bigger than 30.
Yes.
30 inches?
Yeah, 30 inches.
Look, I would say this. It blew
was
my
like over
expectations
100.
away. It
Yeah.
really did.
Over 100 inches.
Because
Like, it was big.
when we first walked in, we sat there. Once the lights went off, that projector's so bright. I was just like, wow. I was like, this is a really cool experience, and this is a good way to experience. I mean, the anime we watched. I mean, that was.
That was cool. I've never done anything like it.
There's a mini mart in there filled with snacks. We have some photos and some clips we'll put up if you haven't seen our story post from when we went that day, but we'll put up a reel of it later. But yeah, it was cool. I had a full hot food concession right by the entrance of the door, and they actually give you a little buzzer, which was nice, so you could just get up and get it. But no, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Comfortable seating.
Yes,
Could
reclining
fit up to
chairs.
10 people, I think.
Yes, we definitely
did.
need to go back.
It's
and
got a
try
PlayStation
D&D.
5 in there, an Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, so you could play games in there too.
Yeah.
But we used it for anime.
We definitely, I think the 3 hours was nice, but we should definitely do a whole day for it.
Yeah,
and just
I agree.
get through
Marathon.
some more. Yes,
That'd be
or
so
or
fun.
go back for D&D.
Chris is going to rate the couch that's electrically controlled to recline. He's going to take a nap because Chris needs a nap halfway through the day.
Yes, Chris is
That much-
It could happen.
That much anime and screen time, it's definitely gonna do it.
Yeah.
But yes, but getting back on track, I mean, what better way to watch 6 episodes of the new season and like just get into it? Because I feel like with anime in the last couple of years, I've just been like on and off. But diving in to like actually getting back to a schedule and watching these, because we're gonna watch all of these.
Yes, Chris.
All of these in every episode, and then review them at the end.
Guys, comment
with our final score.
Everybody comment along and say if Chris should watch Tomo-CHAN as a girl.
Well, I'll tell you right now, that's going to be at the bottom of my list.
But yeah, so I mean, we started with the first one we jumped into was NIER Automata,
Automata.
the video game turned anime. I'm not sure if there was
Square
ever a
Enix?
story.
Was
It
it
is
Square Enix that did it?
Yes, a
Yeah.
Square Enix.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
Are you
one of
sure?
their. I think it's one of their IPs. I don't know if it's the original is like a story or some sort of anything else. But I mean, to my knowledge, I've never played the game.
It's not
It looks
Square
cool.
Enix.
It's not.
No,
Is it
it's
one of their
Platinum Games.
Is that? I feel like that's owned by them.
Publisher. I'm sorry, Square Enix.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I was about to say, I thought we looked it up when we were there. I was like,
But yeah, I mean, it's. I've only heard good things about the game, but
You see, I've never played the game.
neither have I.
neither
So,
of us.
I just want to say, I'm going to start talking about the anime.
Mm-hmm.
As a person who didn't play the game, for the story in the first episode, I was pretty lost.
I agree.
didn't
Yeah.
really know. It kind of just threw you in it.
I feel like a lot of these, and maybe that's just more of the trend that kind of like we've been seeing this year of stuff. I feel like a lot of the shows threw you into a story. There wasn't much building of like, these are the characters. This is what's going on. There's a lot of them, and I feel like it showed the most when we get to Handyman. That it just kind of like throws you in. Not terrible, but I feel like it's kind of a new trending.
Some
thing
do
we're
it
saying.
better than others because when we get
I
to
agree.
Handyman, I'll explain. Like I thought that was well done.
But yeah, none of us
I'm right there
knowing
with
like
you.
anything about NIER. It was definitely a lot to like soak in. It was interesting. I mean, I love a good sci-fi. And from what I could tell from the brief episode, which was like pretty much, I guess, her going on a mission, and meeting, what is it? B2 was his name. It was. B
I know
something.
they were
I thought
numbered
he
because
was B2.
So in the story, each cyborg or android, whatever they are, have the letter and the number based off of what type they are. Like I don't know if it's like their section or if they're a weapon.
Yeah,
or if they're
I think
a
it's
searcher,
like
whatever it is
they're like field category of like what they're responsible for.
It's like,
She's 2B and the guy is 9S.
9S. Okay,
that's what it is.
Yeah, when
Okay.
she meets 9S, and 2B, I feel like B2 sounds better, but 2B, when 2B meets 9S, I guess on her first mission, I don't know how similar it is to the game, if that is the first mission you play. But interesting, and I mean, it seems like it's a post-apocalyptic world. They're they're androids, fighting, I guess, lower capable machines that I guess have taken over the world.
I wouldn't say they're lower capable. Some of those are pretty.
Not as complex.
Pretty capable.
I mean, more
because the
more
little robot with them.
weaponized.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that little robot was I feel like
OP?
could have just taken out the whole little. It was like
Right
some
off the-
oil
The little
rig that they were on.
Pod 042. That's its name.
Oh yes.
Can I ask you guys this too? Because so we watch this subbed. Some of them, I will try to watch sub, of course. But when I'm watching it, I don't remember what because it started off action, right? We're just thrown right into it. They had a B2 was their name, right?
2B.
2B was their name, and they have like this mech suit that they're in, and then like
Which
it just disappeared. Like what happened to it? I don't remember. Like
I don't
'cause
know.
I remember we talked about the CG when they were flying.
yes,
'cause that
so
was a big thing.
I will say, once you get into like a third into the series, the animation style and everything looks fantastic. The beginning literally looks like some 90s CG cartoon.
Transformers.
Yeah, like we're watching
Beast
Transformers Beast Wars. We're watching a reboot, the animated series.
It was
It's
the
like
first
really
thing John
bad, really bad CG.
Is this Beast
Don't know
Wars?
why exactly. It seemed very odd. I guess like the rest of the budget went to like the actual like story and
puppet
fight
show.
scenes in the end.
The puppet show.
The fan service, which that is the one thing I know about the NIER series is it is very heavy on the fan service.
What is fan service?
Go ask your mom. I'm sure she'll explain it.
I'm just gonna look it up.
on Yona's computer, he's gonna put this in the browser.
You should set it out as his wallpaper.
Fan service. Elements added to television program or similar entertainment to appeal to avid fans but are of little interest to outsiders.
Yeah, that's the definition.
Let's go Urban Dictionary.
But yeah,
Not sponsored.
It's
Oh, cleavage shots, panty shots, nudes. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, because that
it's-
that definitely
Makes
happens.
sense.
When the first time it showed up, Chris went, "Oh."
yeah.
Oh yeah.
He stood up quite abruptly and said he needed to take a 5.
He was
But,
sweating. It was weird.
But
It was the spicy ramen from Gamers Heaven that he didn't want to have.
we do need to try their handmade ramen there next time.
No, yes,
Oh,
I think
isn't
it was
it
too.
They
was
have
too
2
early.
options. You can get the instant one, and then they have it in the kitchen. They have ramen.
I thought
that
it
you
was
can order.
only the
Yeah.
instant stuff on the wall.
No, it's both.
I got some.
Yeah, they bring it
Well,
out. It was too early for me for that. But
yeah,
you
we
can at least say
got
this:
there at like 10.
the
That's like a late afternoon.
instant ramen is always consistent, so I know what I'm getting when it comes to that. And they have such a selection. Like I feel like anybody there, because they have miso ones too as well, vegetarian ones that you can get. But no, it was cool.
All right, back to NIER Automata.
But yeah, I mean, great fight scenes, heavy on the fan service. But I mean, that's something I feel like has been in the games very prevalent. But I mean, the characters are cool. I love a good sci-fi. That's my favorite genre to watch, aside from slice of life. But yeah, it was good. The characters seem interesting. Maybe I'll give the game a shot because, unfortunately, I don't know if you guys saw. Apparently, this anime is on pause.
Yeah, I heard about
Is it?
that.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's
COVID and a few others.
Yeah,
Wait, NIER is on pause?
Yeah, it's on pause
Because of
and
COVID?
a couple.
Episodes
I don't know
4,
specifically, I
5,
didn't see that.
and because I saw it because of COVID. At least what I saw online, it was a post on Twitter or somebody's video they posted. I believe it might have been from COVID. And it's going to slow down production of the creating the next few episodes.
I never really thought of it because if you look at American TV and how it's released, like everything's produced and done and like ready
Then
to go
released,
when it
then
comes out.
released.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's released. It's released like weekly, but it's released that I'm not too sure, but I guess they don't
might do the same.
necessarily do that way or do it all that way.
I know
maybe
what
stuff they had to redo.
I know with the dubs as well. Is like I'm always waiting a couple episodes behind of whatever we watch in sub. Like I'll give an example: My Hero Academia. I'm a couple episodes behind because I'm watching the dub. But when the new subbed version comes out, they have to create everything and then they release it, which is why it's a couple weeks behind each time. So they have a time crunch at least for each episode. But yeah, NIER and a couple other ones. Maybe can look that up at some point. But yeah, it's been put on pause, and I think it's not supposed to resume until spring.
Dang.
I mean,
yeah,
I am excited to see where this is actually going to go. At first it was a little rocky for me at the start, but I think that as it goes on, like I want to see where the story definitely develops and goes.
Well, it gives us time for us to play through the game. Maybe stream it on Twitch, and like actually have a better idea of the show going in because it does end. It ends pretty much still very ambiguous if you're not familiar with the series or you don't know anything going on of what's actually going on. But we won't spoil anything else. Should still definitely check it out. I mean, you won't have to worry about needing to watch through all the episodes right now, or maybe wait until it resumes if you want to be able to binge through it. But it was good. A good sci-fi. I want to know more because I feel like I can't really gauge how well I'll like it until then.
There wasn't a lot in that episode.
Yeah, it wasn't
more like a
lot,
big fight scene, and
which seems to be the trending trope going on. Is just like we'll throw you in, you might get hooked on a couple of things or characters or like scenes, but the actual story doesn't happen until episode 2 or 3, which is kind of what happened for me because I will say I went through and I watched pretty much the next episodes for all of these shows afterwards that I could. But the next one we watched was Trigun, which
Stampede
is one of my all-time favorites. It's
my first time watching.
It's probably my number 1 or 2 from the original series. Love it. We also watched it. Did we watch it dub? I know it was out.
Dub, because we were talking about the same voice actor being used.
Yes.
It
is the same voice actor, which I don't know if you're looking up his name, Chris.
No, I wasn't. I was actually looking up the year the original one came out.
Oh, yeah.
1998.
Yes. The original great 90s. I think it came out after Cowboy Bebop, which we had a little discussion about it because we were watching the first 2 episodes of the original afterwards later that night, and it has a lot of like space cowboy vibes to it, and kind of just like stylization. I will say one thing I disliked in the newer one is Vash's outfit is nowhere near as cool as the original one, and is like hidden, like bound up arm. Like there's a lot of visual differences. He looks more like a kid, I guess, in this series.
I like the analogy you used. I don't know if it's an analogy, but you were like, the new Vash is Gen Z and the old one is like a millennial.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, pretty accurate.
He's definitely much cooler in my opinion, but the more I watched, he definitely seems a lot younger. I don't know if it's going to play bigger into the story because this is a reimagining. It's not a continuation. It's not a shot-for-shot reboot. It is a reimagining of the character and the story because, spoilers, if you haven't watched the original, the original ends on this big reveal that like there was a space colony. They crashed. He was part of it. He has a twin brother who pretty much orchestrated the crashing and the destruction of this life vessel that was transporting, I guess, all their people onto this barren wasteland of a planet. And like that's like the big reveal and ending of the story, aside from all the movies that they kind of did, I think, in and after it. But that's what we open up with. Just jumping in is pretty much where the big reveal of the end of the original series is the new beginning of this, which kind of like when I first saw it takes away like the big oh my gosh moment. But after watching episode 2 and 3, which I don't know if you guys got around to watching,
not yet,
blew my mind. I'm not going to say anything, but it blew my mind. The first episode, you do get to see a little bit of goofy Vash, which is like he was in the original. But in the original, he had a lot of mystery to him, which I felt got left out of this reboot, at least for now. And it's just kind of like there's a lot to it. And I won't say anything. I'll let you guys kind of talk about it and give my 2 piece inputs of it.
Well, I'll say that out of the 6 that we watched, this one was probably my favorite. So I've never watched the original series prior to watching this one. And at first, I was a little turned off by the animation style, but that easily grew on me. I got used to it. It kind of reminds me of Dragon Ball Z Super Hero movie.
Yes, it's the exact same. I don't know if it's the same studio. I feel like it is.
They look similar, and that's where I will be the opposite of Chris here, which I do like the visuals in this so far, and I did like Dragon Ball Z Super Hero as well.
I feel like, and going back to how you were saying, Chris, of like when you get a English dubbing and it doesn't quite line up, I feel like that's even with the sub versions of these in the original voice. I feel like with CG, there's been many more CGs that I hate because it doesn't line up, or the frame rate is too varied and too choppy that it just looks very off and weird. Super, a small handful of Netflix ones, because they've been doing more and more a switch to the CG style, and definitely this one do achieve it fairly well. There's a couple of scenes of like, the frame rate looks like it's lagging a little bit, but do a pretty good job and a pretty great watch of it. But yeah, that's it was definitely probably the coolest, if not one of the coolest ones we watched on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll say it's one of the coolest, visually appealing, one of the best, and I think the characters are pretty likable. All the ones that we were introduced to so far. Yeah, so Trigun's my top on the list.
Not again following the same as the first one. Not much of a reveal.
True.
I can definitively say that when you get to episode 2 and 3, it picks way up, and you kind of start to see the image that they're drawing. Because one thing I really liked in the original was, yes, it's goofy, but they do a really good job of the mystery of the $60 billion double dollar man, which I don't know why they changed the his in this new series. He's only worth $6 million, which
maybe he hasn't done that much.
I have some theories on it, but I like the mystery of Vash, because in the original, and you saw it, Chris, too, we talked a little bit about it, was that nobody really knows who he is, even when he's right in front of them, and somehow he manages to get away, and it just adds to the overall goofy.
Yeah, everyone has their own description of him, and they're all different.
Exactly. Everyone has this image and idea of who this guy is, and it's definitely not who he actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this new series, there's a lot of theories. I won't spoil anything of it, because you should definitely watch it, all the episodes that are out now, and get a good idea. But it is probably, calling it now, going to be the series of the year.
Really?
I think so.
Actually, I don't know, because I was on Reddit.
You're right.
Anime
it's going to be
subreddit.
TOMO-CHAN is a girl. TOMO-CHAN is a girl. Sorry.
That will be the number one.
That was
Chris,
number
you were
5.
surprised. You were surprised it's number 5.
Trigun was at the bottom of the list.
What?
Which was very surprising to me.
I think, did it say what episode was released at the point of that? Because watching that first episode, I was like, okay, this is it. This is cool. I really don't get what's going on. I don't know what they're doing with the reboot with this reimagining of it so far, where it's going to go.
Can I just mention too, like, for the animes that we watched, at least me going into this blind, I've never saw the original.
You guys don't watch shit.
Well, I just didn't watch this. So, anyways, going into it though, I think they did a good job for a first episode to be able to
I can tell you
their characters and everything, and like how they develop those, and you can understand them.
Yeah, I don't know if you could see this. It's backwards. Is it?
No,
it's not.
I kind of see it. Yeah.
So,
Chris
episode 2
was when they did that polling. You find a poll that has episode 3, or you watch episode 2 and 3 after we finish recording this podcast, and then you call me with your response of it.
We'll see.
And if you don't have the same response as it's probably going to be one of the best, I will be greatly shocked. But it's really good. Definitely go watch it. Go watch the original. I mean, the 90s sci-fi animes are my favorite, and just so good and so well.
Mm-hmm.
So many creative, like, what's the word? Chances they took with it, and it just plays out for a much better story that I feel like gets lost in a lot of, like, newer shows and, like, later 2000s that just don't hit as well.
Different trends, you know?
Yes. But, but speaking of trends, that brings us to our third one, which,
Buddy Daddies.
Yes,
You heard
Buddy
it.
Daddies. And that is quite the trend, which I guess the trend, if I had to sum it up, was, and this is definitive, just like I called it in our first episode, and our second episode, Spy Family, number one most watched series of 2022, anime of the year. Go vote for it on Crunchyroll too. It hasn't won there yet, but it's literally, I think it's taken 10 categories so far, leading of, like, best characters, best, like, animation, best music. It's just fucking amazing and perfect and everything. Just go watch it. Chris finally watched it.
Yeah, when we were at Gamers Heaven,
we snuck it in there.
Yeah, we swapped it with a different series. But at first, you know, when we were at Comic-Con and you guys were talking about Spy Family,
We
like,
went to the booth. We took
I wasn't
pictures
too hyped
in
about
the
it.
apartment.
Like, I see
we
the
have swag, we have T-shirts.
Oh,
I saw clips of Spy Family, and it didn't like stand out. But after watching the first episode, I was like, "Yeah, this is pretty good."
You heard from
when
your
I got
two best
home,
friends.
I watched like I don't know. I fell asleep watching it. I have to check to see what episode
I looked
I'm
on my Crunchyroll, and it was at episode 12. So I mean, made a pretty big
somewhere
dent.
around there.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, so good, so fucking good.
But to kind of segue to that, so Spy Family, great show. Reason why we're bringing it up is like Buddy Daddies. It feels to me as a blatant ripoff of Spy Family, just the B version of it, basically.
If you could take the #1 anime of 2022 and then rip it off and somehow miss all the key points and storyline tropes of that series, well, you've got Buddy Daddy. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it's got the same to run down the synopsis of it that doesn't really give away
I'll say as far as we know, it could change.
Yeah.
We're basing this off of our
the first
our
episode.
first
all
episode.
of these, yes, all of these are first episode impressions, and plenty of series have had terrible first episodes and gone into monumental, amazing series later. So, and I mean, the running kind of trope here that we've all discussed is that a lot of these do not give you a lot to work with in the first episode. It's just kind of throwing you in. You learn as you go along, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll have a full picture. But I mean, pretty much it takes the family aspect of Anya with Lloyd and Yor and replaces Anya with a girl who I can't even remember
just
her
shows
name.
up. I forget. It's like it starts with an M or something like that.
Yeah, so pretty
remember
much two assassins, each with dark pasts, somehow while on a mission to take out a new client, end up taking care of a girl. This little girl who is looking for her father, and I'll leave it at that without giving away the whole episode. But
I still say it's worth a shot to watch.
It's worth watching.
I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it because of how similar it is. I want to see how they kind of.
But it has yet to tug at my heartstrings or make me feel the way I do as when I watch Spy Family. Because everything's just so well thought out and well executed and animated beautifully.
It's so elegant.
Yes, it's so elegant.
Perfectly put, Chris. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll definitely watch it. I'll definitely see where it goes. But you can't beat Anya, you can't beat Yor, and you can't beat Lloyd.
Twilight.
Yes, it's too perfect. I
was like, this is our Buddy Daddies review. Quite the opposite of our Spy Family.
Yes, it's like the bootleg. It's the
literally
it's the generic.
As far as we know, it's
Spy
like
Family is the premium brand, and Buddy Daddies so far is that Target brand, which is still good.
Yeah, Spy Family is Crunchyroll Premium.
Yeah.
Buddy Daddies, it's a free version with
do.
commercials.
I would say I want to hear what everyone else, if you're listening or watching, what you think too. So drop a comment once you guys watch Buddy Daddies. Because, I think it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, hit us up on social.
Yeah,
we'll probably post we'll post a image of all 6 of the episodes we watched, and you can vote for your favorite. But yeah, leave a comment. You can leave us a voicemail on Spotify after you listen to this podcast. Spotify's got a lot of features, but you can also listen to this podcast everywhere. We're not saying Spotify's the best, but it's got a lot of really cool features for interacting with fans on
honestly,
these podcasts.
if you leave a voicemail with just you screaming or something, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, Chris will listen to it at 100%.
I think it'd be kind of fun.
Chris is going to make it his ringtone from now on.
Yes,
I might.
Yes. But give it a watch. But for me, that was probably the least interesting of the bunch that we watched. as
I
a
disagree.
bias, big bias.
John and I agree.
I disagree.
Chris always
disagrees.
coming in with the hot takes.
Okay, well, that's Buddy Daddies. We already talked about Tomo-CHAN as a girl at the beginning. Do we need to go back to that?
Not enough,
I know, right? We can have a whole episode dedicated. But yeah,
we definitely can. What were you gonna say?
I was
what
gonna
were you
say, well, Chris, I was like, if you want to introduce the next anime we watch.
Yes, we can
Oh,
skip
yes,
over
I'd
it.
love to. Instead, so we talked about Tomo-CHAN as a girl, which was the fourth one we watched. The next one was the ICEBLADE Sorcerer Shall Rule the World. And this one...
Dun, dun, dun.
This one's about ordinary student going to like a wizard school, kind
Elegant.
of like Harry Potter in a way.
Yes, ordinary, which they make prevalent throughout the whole.
very,
Yeah.
very prevalent.
You're ordinary.
I can't believe I touched an ordinary person.
Oh,
Yeah, but
There's
he's
some moments of
apparently. So the episode started with like,
you don't want to give away the big reveal, but
I mean, it's the first 5 minutes of the episode.
yeah,
But
Pretty sure it's in the
like,
trailer.
Yeah, so the
True.
first episode started with a flashback.
Yes,
of-
which I thought was a flash forward. I thought this going into it and going from the cover art that this was an isekai and he died and came into this world, and which is most of these magical ones always end up being is that becomes the main character and blah blah
Yeah.
blah and magic and I have an ability other people don't have in this world already, blah blah
So
blah.
his name is Ray White, and he's like an IceBlade magician. And something happens on the battlefield. I think
Yeah.
did he get hurt?
It looks like
Someone
up the school
he
too.
cared about from the trailer gets hurt, and I guess
Right.
during some sort of battle, and leads to him somehow going to attend school under
Arnold
the ordinary-
Academy.
yes, as an ordinary
Yeah.
person in a school that has only ever let in the noblest of noble bloodlines.
Yeah, he enrolled to school because he wanted to like have the luxury of a normal life, because his life before was like battlefield stuff.
Yeah, but nobody knows that.
Yeah, nobody knows that yet.
other than him and the
And-
principal,
And the
which,
principal, yeah.
Yeah.
which seems to have a past with him. But
That is you do discover that, yeah.
but again, randomly thrown in. Not bad. One of the more digestible ones, but was confusing at the beginning. But thrown in, kind of have to figure it out, piece it together, pick up on a lot of sub context and clues about what the overarching story is. I haven't started watching episode 2 yet. I was going to watch episode 2 at work. But let's say there's a lot of fan service at the with his roommate at the very beginning that I needed to shut that off in the break room, because I was like, okay, this is not okay to work.
I feel so.
It was so
weird
unexpected because
with
all of
fan
us,
service stuff.
Yes,
all of us were
There
like,
is-
"Whoa!"
I feel like watching it will leave a pleasant surprise for you, but the bromance in this story is probably going to be an excellent subplot. But one thing, because I did rewatch a couple of these, so it could be fresh in my mind since it's been a couple of days from watching to recording. This, if you guys remember it as clearly as I do, this feels like a dating sim. I watched this, and if from when the school starts,
Like the animation?
no, not the animation, the story style. Just think of it. It begins at the school. He gets into trouble with the guy who doesn't like him, which looks like a 40-year-old man going to this like
these lines
he is,
all over
for
his face.
for being a noble and having probably money and power and wealth. He looks like he's been beaten down by life and has failed multiple times, and he's just taking it out on this young ordinary guy. But he shows up at a new school. It's just like all these dating sims. He shows up at a new school, gets into a fight with somebody, rescued by a cute girl, then goes to class. You're introduced to a mysterious girl in the back of the class. Then later bumps into her in the library. And when I rewatched it, every time he meets a girl, the interaction ends with him saying, "Oh, you're cute," or like points out some cute aspect of it, or like, "Oh, to me, you're this." But it's literally like a dating sim. Every single girl he's trying to build up as a path to take, and it just, I watched it and I was like, "Is this really just a secret dating sim somebody thought up?" Because there's like 6 different girls in the first episode that you all meet, even when he's out running. Think about it. He's out running, runs past the girl, like blows up her skirt, and then turns back and is like, "Oh, hello." That whole scene was like 20 seconds long, but he still comes back, introduces himself, and says something nice about the girl, and then it jumps to the next episode. His
name's Ray White, right?
Yeah.
I was saying throughout the whole thing, I was like, he's so polite to everybody, though. Like it's like the overly confident social person from your school.
Like a dating sim. You're trying to literally navigate. I don't know much about them. It's a school setting. You literally have a quirky roommate, male best friend, and you're pretty much literally introducing yourself to each of the females in there, and like trying to come up with like I don't know. More of it going on. It feels like a dating sim to me, and I feel like that's how the rest of it is going to go. Funny and interesting, but I feel like whoever made it was like, "I want to make a dating sim anime," but they were like, "Well, you need something more," and they're like, "All right, it's a magical adventure that takes place in a school, and he meets 12 different girls." They're like, "Okay, just go with it. We'll see where it goes from here."
The thing that stood out to me though, that I felt was like, I was like, "Oh, cool, magic, everything," and then like you notice they're doing magic, and it's like computer processing in their own brain, and like I was just like, and again, I'm watching this subbed with you guys, so I'm sitting there like reading this, and I'm like, What? I was like, wait, so magic is technology now? What? I said, so it kind of gives you some, I don't know, some
more to figure out
their world.
I couldn't tell if it was magic or a computer science class going on, but
Oh yeah, that was a funny scene. You got to encode and decode the magic in your mind.
Yeah.
And then like the Matrix is going on internally in their head as they're like figuring it out. It definitely has a lot of subplots, which I'm sure will come together in the most beautiful of stories as it goes on.
Hopefully.
But yeah.
Well, that was the ICEBLADE Sorcerer. But overall, I liked it.
I did enjoy it.
From the first episode.
It made me laugh, and anything that makes me laugh is it's going to be a fun time.
I don't typically watch anime that have a long title. It's a turnoff for me, but I enjoyed watching it.
What isn't these days, Chris? You know, in the anime
speaking
world.
of long titles, I know we kind of talked about this. I don't know. It was in our last podcast we did.
All the names.
Yeah, I did. They're not anything too fancy, but I think it is. It kind of nailed it in the head. I went into chat GPT. And I asked it to create 20 convoluted anime titles for the upcoming anime season on Crunchyroll.com.
What did it come up with?
Can I share? Let me see if I can share this.
Yeah, you could share on here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, window. I think it's this one. Yeah, here it is. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. Can you see it?
Wow, there's so many of us.
Yeah. We're entire screen? No, it should just
If it doesn't work, we can always try to push this to one of our socials as well.
Well, here, you know what? Yeah, I'll post it afterwards so people can see who don't watch it. But weird. It's got the window there. It like shows up perfectly. Riverside.fm, which is what we used to record this. Great. Oh, it came up. Perfect. You guys see
Oh,
it?
there it goes. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
it
but
now.
it's very hard to read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
Zoom in.
I can zoom in.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
There. So 20 convoluted anime titles for the upcoming season. But reading through a couple of them. Chrono Dimension Alteration, The Timekeeper's Dilemma.
Sounds like something I wouldn't watch.
Eternal Souls in a Digital World.
So far they sound legit.
Exactly. The Last Guardian of the Lost Kingdom.
Oh my gosh.
Mystic Maidens and the Curse of the Moonstone. Parallel Lives, the story of the twin souls.
Sounds like a sitcom. I don't know if Chris would watch it.
Yeah, I'll skip around a little bit because 20 is a lot. The Demon Lord's Heir, a story of betrayal and redemption. The Dark Lord's Invasion, a battle for the future.
Wait, can I read one?
Yeah.
The Ultimate Illusion, a quest for the ultimate reality. Like, that's just, like, redundant.
Yes, but that's
But
literally
this
what
is
these titles
similar.
are.
This is also similar to what we were looking at.
I know.
on the
It's just
Crunchyroll.
so ridiculous. I can't like, these will definitely be made one day.
Yes, I was toying around with it, but I didn't save it. Maybe I'll try and do it, and we can talk about that in the next episode. But I told it to come up with synopsis. So I said create 10 titles of upcoming ones and give me a synopsis of what the first episode is about. And some of them were definitely out there, but I definitely need to play around more.
Honestly,
with
just do that for 10 episodes, then pitch it to a company, and you got yourself a deal. Like, I promise you.
But yeah, these are, oh my god, these are literally spot on. The Dragon King's Curse, the story of love and sacrifice. They're literally like half of the titles are just so long and complicated, like the ones that have been coming out.
The Final Showdown, a battle for the fate of the world.
Yeah, they all are so legit, but
yeah,
hilarious.
That's funny. That's so.
It is pretty good.
But
all right.
Yeah, I can't even remember where we were.
So
we were talking about before.
we're talking about the ICEBLADE sorcerer shall rule
yeah.
the world. We're kind of talking about at least our thoughts on it. So
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's good. I'm interested to see where it goes. But
Yeah, me too.
can't judge it off the first episode. It goes for all of these.
Or can you? Because that's what we're doing. So I mean, all right. We'll see where it goes. And then we watched that was the fifth one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the sixth one that we watched individually, not at Gamers Heaven, because we watched Spy
Yes,
Family.
that's how we tricked Chris into finally watching the greatest anime.
It's only taken a year.
Yeah.
But this one is
But now we
called
can binge it.
Handyman SAITOU in Another World. And this is about SAITOU, who is a handyman that gets transported to another world where his skills are very useful, and he gets a sense of what it feels like to be needed. Because in his other world, he didn't have that. Nobody appreciated him. And this is a one Sai mentioned before that just throws you into it. But it works really well.
It really does.
You do have to. I will say I at least had to pay attention because there's a lot going on. It throws you in. You kind of you have to piece it together because it's not a what's the word, like continuous story. It's broken up.
Yeah,
it's like an
forth.
anthology in a way.
Yeah,
but it still follows like a main storyline.
Exactly.
It's like they're episodic episodes within the episode.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that an anthology is one of the better ways to put it, while still focusing on the main group.
Yeah,
which is SAITOU.
Yes,
SAITOU. An old wizard
who forgets everything.
Yes,
forgets his
even his
incantations.
spells. Yes, a barbarian. I'm pretty sure she's a barbarian.
She's like a knight in armor, basically.
Yeah, well, and I watched episode 2, and they call her like a barbarian.
Gotcha.
And then
the The fairy?
A
Is it a
fairy,
fairy?
yeah.
Fan Pan, the fairy.
Yes.
I will say
And
this:
Warlock is the wizard.
if you like Dungeons and Dragons, this is definitely an anime I think you would enjoy, because at first that's what I didn't know it was. And I remember when we were talking about what we should watch, and John and I saw this, and I was like, oh, we should do this one. I was like, I like the cover. It looks better. And
As
then
all great animes.
as like right off the bat when I first started watching it, I was just piecing together what was going on, and it's kind of then it started to click in my head, like, oh, this story is actually about Saito, who is from another world, because then they do, not to spoil too much.
You have to piece it together as it goes on, because like it jumps around. But
Saito's picking a lock because he's a locksmith and a handyman in like a modern
one of his
world.
many skills.
Yeah, and to have that in the in a D&D party, we all play D&D, so to see that really made me laugh.
Yeah,
so I was like,
funny.
oh wow! I was like, imagine having some ordinary person in our D&D party who's like can just pick locks and like do basic like bag mending.
Yes,
and
which I'm curious because I feel like it's a manga that I've probably seen scrolling through many of sites. I'm curious in the long run of the show if all these like cut twos of these other stories and these other characters we're seeing, if that's going to lead into like a more concrete storyline.
That's what I'm thinking too. Well, actually, no, we can't talk about it because I didn't watch it.
Like maybe how he got there. Yeah,
Well,
first
we know how he
episodes.
got there,
First,
right?
I don't.
No,
so first,
that wasn't even in the first episode.
First,
or in the
yeah.
second.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're right.
So dub versus sub. Here's another thing. So John and Chris are ahead via the subbed. We started watching it dubbed. I'm waiting for the next 2 episodes. I didn't look up when they were, but I checked today and it was not on there, so I am a little upset. But I'm super excited. I said this would probably be my second favorite out of the 6 that we watched. Because
this is my second favorite as well.
Yeah,
because of how well they.
It was a
they
nice
just
surprise. It
introduced
was a good pick.
Yeah.
It was a nice refresher, not refresher, a nice like kind of new idea to the isekai trope, because like you're usually stuck with them like it's just you see him have like some conflict going on in his regular life.
It's over the top.
Dies with it never being resolved. But I'm in a new world. Let's figure out what's going on.
And has superpowers.
I'm the hero. I'm the main character. I've been backstabbed. I've been blah blah blah.
And this is like quite different because like he is not the person who can do magic or do anything. He's just like the regular person, and he's
just ordinary.
We're not even
he's
really
ordinary.
Elegant, ordinary.
Well, we still haven't even figured out like how he got there, who brought him there, like or anything. So I mean, clearly he's not like the savior or anything. He's just a guy who's there.
He's just a handyman.
Yeah, and it works really well.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm biased about this too, because like I connected with the characters a lot more. Like the wizard, I thought was hilarious, forgetting things. Okay, and like just little things. Even with
he forgot his own party and became a walking a living corpse. Yes. And it just started
he
attacking
forgets he's
them.
alive.
No, yeah, it's definitely one of the. Yeah, definitely one of the top 2.
Made me laugh, which was great.
So
like
can I give my ranking real quick of the 6 that we watched?
We'll each do our ranking. We'll let you go first, Chris.
Okay. So mine goes like this. Trigun, Stampede. Handyman Saito. NIER, Automata, whatever one. I don't know how to say it. But then it goes... ICEBLADE Sorcerer Shall Rule the World, Buddy Daddies, and that's it.
Okay, so is that going?
6?
Was that least?
That was 5.
Was that least favorite to most?
We watched 6.
Most favorite to least favorite.
You left one out. We watched 6.
No, I didn't leave one out. That's
you definitely left one out.
We'd have to go back and hear it.
Okay, I'll say it again.
No, it's say it again. Say it again.
No, what did I say first? Oh yeah, Trigun Stampede, Handyman Saito,
Handyman,
NIER Automata, ICEBLADE Sorcerer, Buddy Daddies.
Buddy Daddies.
You missed one.
That's
no,
5.
You definitely missed one. Definitely missed one.
You-
So
I think I got 'em all.
I can here. Let me tell you my top,
Okay.
and I'll go from my favorite to least favorite. Okay, and I'll start off with the first one, which surprise. Okay, Tomo-CHAN is a girl. My number one favorite of the ones that we watched. Second, I would go to Handyman Saito in Another World. After that, Trigun Stampede, and then I would go into the ICEBLADE Sorcerer Shall Rule the World. And then I would go with NIER Automata. Okay. That's
You left one out.
with Buddy Daddies. I don't know, Buddy Daddies and that one at the same level. Because again, I don't feel as strong because I love Spy Family so much.
Yeah.
Chris is just giving me the weirdest faces. Like he just had
Like,
a
another thing
sour candy.
I just don't understand how, like, yeah, I get it. I didn't play the game either for NIER, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I don't
Like,
think so.
I'm
none
not
of
saying
these, I
it's
think-
bad. I'm just saying in order of my
Yeah,
favorites.
Okay,
None of-
right. It's
none
your
of- none of
ranking. I
these-
had
it's
mine.
just ranking. Yeah.
None of these are bad. I don't
Yeah,
think I
well-
watched one that I hated or anything, but there are ones that I
Strongly as Chris did.
enjoyed a lot more. And I think that's what this ranking is. And so, with that said, I'll give you the only ranking that's going to matter, because I call them perfectly. But mine was almost like your side, but I'll have to agree with Chris in saying Trigun, I think, was the best, especially watching episodes 1 through 3. It's reinvigorated a story that I really loved, and it might be nostalgia being biased about it, but I'm super excited to see where the story will go, and get something new and fresh for this series. And I honestly think, this is a side note, but if this does really well, I could definitely see maybe somebody trying to do the same thing with Cowboy Bebop, and like trying to reimagine it in like this style and like this type. I think that would be amazing, and I think Trigun is going to be the perfect catalyst to like give us anything close to that. So Trigun, definitely my favorite. Then I would have to say probably Handyman for my second one, followed by Tomo-CHAN as a girl. And then what
Chris
was
is
it?
counting so hard right now. He doesn't want you to
throwing
miss
me
one.
off. I know. Shit. Now I'm like
Handyman third. Or no, Tomo-CHAN.
Tomo-CHAN third, Handyman second. What else did we watch now? I'm
you have
blanking.
Buddy Daddies, the ICEBLADE Sorcerer.
Oh yes,
and-
ICEBLADE Sorcerer, number 4. Just because I think there's a little bit more going on with the story that I'd like to see, and it's funny, so it definitely gets more up there. NIER would have to be 5th. Great sci-fi, but I would rather know more what's going on, and maybe that's on my own fault for not playing the game before watching it, but I feel like they could have spent a little more time, especially with the series being on hiatus now, of giving you more idea of what to expect. But definitely well worth it. And then Buddy Daddies in last place of the 6, just because in this case you gotta go brand name. You gotta spend the extra dough, and you gotta get the you gotta get the Spy Family. It's the oh my god, we have to make that meme of that GIF meme, whatever GIF, where it's like, can we get McDonald's? And they're like, we have McDonald's at home. And then it's
Buddy Daddies.
Oh yeah.
exactly. Yeah, but have it like, can we get Spy Family? We have Spy Family at home. And then
my
it being
gosh.
Buddy Daddies. Oh my god. Oh,
That's
yes.
funny.
Stay tuned to our social for this. Whoever
Yes,
can take it.
Stay tuned for a lot on our social. I've got a backlog of TikToks and Reels that I'm putting together. I think Sai has some builds that he still hasn't put up.
Yeah, I'm working on a series called Chris Plays, where I do a playthrough of a game.
Yeah. As soon as he springs and gets his PC, which we almost convinced them to do after we watched it. Shout out to Micro Center. Maybe you if you listen to it, you want to throw us some parts, throw us a build, sponsor us, we'll build it on live, throw some names out, get those peoples in there. I mean, we've seen some of the TikTokers that you guys do back in
We could do better.
Not not
Hey,
too
hey, hey. I'm just saying we could just create content for you.
Yes, but no, yeah. Stay tuned. Maybe we'll talk about the next episodes of each one, or we'll pick. I think let's pick six more that have come out of the season. I feel like there's a ton, and we'll go through the first episode of any brand new series.
How about for next one, we pick maybe 3.
3?
Yeah, because then I want to do this anime sub versus dub game or whatever.
Oh yeah.
We'll get to it.
We'll in. But yeah. Check out our socials. Stay tuned. Yeah. We got more. We're working on it. We've got jobs. We've got lives. We're trying to fit it in. But the more you support us, the more we can finally quit and do something
and work for you.
And work for you. Yes, as all content creators do. We work for the fans.
That's right.
And with that, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you, everybody.
Catch you in the next one.